Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the HTM Buddy Build. I'm Ken with Ken's Hobby Bench,
I'm Jordan with Line of the Stars.
and today we're carrying on with our Reliant build. So, Jordan, what did you get done last week?
I'm actually I wasn't desperate to get work done this week as after we finished recording our last little segment, I actually got right to work and I really focused on getting my putty work done. I did start by drilling out my holes for the you can see the six holes down there on the bottom of the hole. Those are going to be for the fiber optics when I run them up through the phaser turrets. I did find out that drilling down through there would pull up one turret each time. And what was funny is it was the second one on each one wound up coming up on its own. Like it was kind of annoying. But otherwise, after that, getting that done, I just went through and I spent a lot of time puttying up here in my inserts there and basically use the unicorn tiers to get it all cleaned up. Really pleased with how all that turned out. And then basically what I did was I need to what I'm going to be doing this week. We'll talk about that here in a second, but I basically just wound up getting all my putty around the outside of all my window boxes or inserts, and that way I'll be able to sand them in. I want to be able to take some time doing that, and I didn't wind up actually having the time this week because work. But yeah, so I got everything all taken care of there. So that's what I got done this week. How about you?
Looks good, Jordan. I got
Thank
done my
you.
nacelles. I did
Oh,
the warp chiller grills. I still have to sand around here a little bit
that
and
looks so cool.
fixing the seams, and then I also got the oh, I always forget what these are called.
Intercoolers.
Thank you. Intercooler
Mm-hmm.
assembly is what the part is if you're looking for the part from
Mm-hmm.
Green Strawberry. So that's what I got done. Um, yeah. And what are you going to be
Awesome.
working on this week?
So I guess to complete what was done this last week, I'm gonna go through and start by sanding, get my edge nice and flat. There was a couple of these that I may need to readjust. They kind of set back after drying a little bit. So I need to make some adjustments here and there. But I'll plan on getting these sanded in. And then as of recording right now, the replacement maintenance pits are coming from Will or from Cass over at Lake Monster Details. And so I'm going to go ahead and get these sanded out and basically get them replaced with the stock parts. And then from there, it's likely I will either start working on the roll bar or being that we have the new shuttle based stuff all arriving, I may start working on the back half. I'm not quite sure which way I'm going to go on that front right now, but it could also do the same thing that I did last week and do a little bit more putty work as well. So, also as well, I need to watch some of Will's stuff to figure out what he did back here because we were talking and where is that part? I just had it a second ago. I don't know what I did with it.
This one right
There it
here.
is. Yeah, so that part sits directly underneath this grill, right where Ken had put in the photo etch, and that acts as the light box for that part because there is a slight blue glow that comes out of that grill. And so I think I'm gonna go back and do a little bit of homework, see how all the light boxes fit, getting ready for the forward, the going ahead parts, and then seeing how all that works. So that's gonna be my plan for this week. How about yourself, my friend?
Well, I'm going to work on putting in the RCS thrusters.
Cool.
There's four of them for this for the Reliant. If you're looking to get them for this kit, Cass over at Lake Monster, he is selling them actually under the Enterprise, but you can let him know it's just for the Reliant because the Enterprise has twice as many. Reliant, you only need four of these. Enterprise, you need eight, and they're just going to go up here on the corners and then underneath on the corners. So I'm
Awesome.
going to do that, and then I'm also going to try and put in some windows around on the inside. I don't think I'll get them all in, but I'll get some of them in. And also, same as you, if I get the parts from Cast this week, I will go ahead and put on the uh, shuttle bay doors.
Awesome. Yeah, that's such a cool mod, by the way. Like, I really like the effect. Like, one of the cool things with the Miranda class is like when you're looking at the rear end of the ship, there's actually stuff going on, and you can really pick out a lot of detail at the aft. So I'm really looking forward to doing that portion of it. I think that's where I said I was going to kind of work on the roll bar, but I kind of want to work on that part. So
Oh yeah, there's you're right. It is a very busy part of the ship back here.
it really is. And there's a lot of work to do back there along, with those little triangle pieces that we're going to need to sand off and
Yep.
replace, with the stuff from Lake Monster. And yeah, it's a busy stuff back there. And I think that the roll bar will be fairly simple outside of the the resin pieces that we're going to be replacing them with, but the rear end is going to be a lot of fun to build. So yeah, I think that's where I'll go, like one of those two. So that's awesome. Like, we're kind of sticking a little close together, but eventually we will completely diverge.
Oh,
So
for sure.
awesome. Awesome, awesome. Well, that sounds like a great plan for this week. Yeah, we got stuff arriving from Lake Monster. I should be HDA has not sent me any tracking, but I'm assuming that it's like I got like a what was it the when you have the post office notifications, I got a random notification that I wasn't expecting. So I'm hoping that all my stuff from HDA arrives this week, which will also be the intercoolers and my photo etch. So I'm
Nice.
hoping that some of that will be arriving this week, but a ton of work to do, isn't there?
There is, but trust me, those intercoolers make a huge difference.
Yeah, I was looking at seeing if we can get around it and just waiting or like cutting into the pieces. I even looked for some STL files, but no, just gonna have to go with the ones from Green Strawberry. But all the stuff that they did for this model is pretty amazing.
Oh yes, yeah, they do a lot of good stuff for the hobby.
Yes, indeed. All right, my friend. Well, good luck to you on your build this week. I really look forward to checking out your last video and seeing what you got going on coming up here in the next coming week.
Well, thank you, and I look forward to seeing what you come out with.
All right. All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Line of the Stars. I'm Jordan, and as we've seen, we are here today with another episode of the buddy build of the USS Reliant. And today is kind of like, I don't know, not necessarily like a big milestone, but we're getting pretty close to getting finished with all the modifications to the hull or the saucer section, which is the primary part of the ship. And there's not too many more modifications that we're going to have to do before we can move on to electronics. And so today I'm super excited about that. And in order to get started, I need to kind of do some work that needed to get probably finished a while ago because this is some low hanging fruit. But before we get to that, I'm going to go ahead and outline what we're going to get done and what I have gotten done even since recording the intro with Ken. So to review what I have gotten done, as I went through and I got all of my window sections sanded in. I need to do a little bit more work here. As you guys recall, this is the piece that broke. And so I've been continuing to set putty and sand this. So it's a little bit rough over here, but even then it's starting to get in there real nice. But went through and I've gone along the edge of the hull and made sure everything's nice and even, sanded up. There's a little bit, that creates some ridges from time to time when we do this. So went ahead and got that all flattened out, smoothed in. I'll continue to modulate as I go along as I feel around here. Here I had to build a bit of hole as I got that whole side or that window section. It came out a little far, and so I went ahead and just put a huge bead of putty right along the outside here and smoothed it out and got it to go ahead and wrap around the outside. And then got the rear ones all taken care of as well. And then I went ahead and ran some putty along the inside of the rims there, as you can see. And that is, camera doesn't like that. As you can see, that's going to be for, creating, filling in any gaps and light blocking and so forth. So that's what I've gotten done in between. And on top of that, where we're going to be doing today, and a little bit of a spoiler, I went ahead and got installed one of my shuttle bays. Now, for this, we're going to go ahead and do the other side, and I've also sanded off the raised detail, and I'll show you how we do that here on this one, as I do have some resin pieces to put over the top. So in addition to that, I've cut out the piece that's going to get lit through the photo etch that we're going to be installing next week, as a little bit of a spoiler for next week's episode, as we're going to be working primarily on this piece and getting it ready to go to be installed. As like I said, we're getting close to being done with all of the external modifications for the saucer section, which is going to basically be back here. So beyond that, the only other thing that I've done is I went ahead and in between episodes, I used the Sonic Saber to cut out the maintenance pits so I can install the new ones from Lake Monster Details. Excuse me. So with that being said, what what Will had done over at the ensign's chair, is he had sanded them down and was able to use a lot of patience to get those sanded down so he could put them in place. That was not me. No patience here. So I went ahead and just cut them out, test fit them in place with the ones that we had already had, and it turned out to work out really well. So as a little bit of a preface for today's episode, we are going to be installing our maintenance pits above our deflectors here. And then from there, we are also going to go ahead and install the other shuttle bay. And I will show you how to do that using a combination of UV resin, CA glue, and hopes and dreams. And then we'll go ahead and sand down this piece here. And then from there, where we will start today is we're going to go ahead and drill out these lower windows down along near the planetary sensor. So that's what we're going to get done today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get moving on to drilling out the windows and doing something that I probably could have done a long time ago. All right, so what I have here is a 1.2 millimeter drill bit, and then I kind of went through and I tested to make sure that which one's going to fit in here properly, so to say. And the 1.2 millimeter is the perfect size, so we're just going to go ahead and go through and drill into each one of these windows, and just kind of go back and forth and take any burrs out. And after we get that deburred a little bit, I like to kind of take the drill bit and use it as a sanding device. That's what we get. Okay, let's go ahead and take care of a couple more here before I do the fast forward. Yeah, this model's been a lot of fun to build. Thankfully, I've got some great instructors between Ken and Will, and then, of course, some of my own skills here. But it's been a lot of fun to kind of see the process and kind of the end result of a lot of research and development on Will's part over at the Ensign's Chair. And I definitely recommend you check out his channel, Will at the Ensign's Chair. He does a fantastic job. And I believe that I met him at Wonderfest last year. But this year, I'm definitely going to make sure to introduce myself and thank him for his hard work on this model. There we go. There's a couple more. The 1.2 millimeter is perfect. I have all the way up through 2 millimeters. And this one was perfect, the 1.2. Kind of went through, I started at 0.9 and worked my way up, and it was only a couple that I had to test before we made it. All right, so there is that little section taken care of. Those windows are drilled out. That's what it looks like from back behind. I'm going to go ahead and take care of these other two sections right here, and I will be right back. All right, we're drilling into our last one here now. Everything went just as smooth as I predicted it would be. I was a little worried that I was going to break the drill bit. I do have a couple more of these, of course, but you never know. But there are all of our windows drilled out. Nice and easy. We'll eventually create a little bit of a light box for that. And we'll get those lit up. I'm probably going to use micro crystal clear to fill in the windows. So nice and easy. Oh, there it is. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to doing something that I've been waiting to do since I cut out these pieces here. Let's go ahead and install the maintenance pits. And I am really super excited about that. right, so we have our new Lake Monster Details maintenance pits here, and Cass was awesome enough to send them along for us, which was fantastic. So here they are, and there is so much detail in there. Will did a fantastic job of replicating what he saw on screen. It's such a nice piece. And thankfully, the ones that we had gotten that were broken, he was able to go ahead and send. And when he ships these out, he's likely going to be shipping them out on the tree here. So, or the supported base for the print. So let me go ahead and grab. I got my Sonic Saber, which is actually what the Sonic Saber is for. And let's go ahead and cut through some pieces here. And the beauty of this is it just goes through so quick. This isn't super difficult to get off the supports, but it makes stupid quick work of it. That's for certain. That's exactly what this thing is for. There we go. There we go. Very nice. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get these sanded up. I'll be right back. As, of course, there are going to be little pieces there. Going to be inside, probably not going to affect anything, but for the sake of doing it properly, let's go ahead and get it sanded. I will be right back. All right, so there are both of our maintenance pits sanded and taken care of. Let's go ahead and throw away the printing base there. Let's go ahead and match up our sides. And this one goes over here. Go ahead and do a test fit real fast. This one, I think I need to do a little bit of sanding still inside. Although I did kind of leave it a little tight on purpose. Okay. I'm actually just going to go ahead and very carefully get this slotted in. And I am going to use a pair of my silicone tweezers, or not silicone, but ceramic tweezers here. And get this pushed down into place. And what we're going to do, come around from the back side here, and go ahead and get this glued in place. I'll, of course, fill any gaps with putty after the glue's had a chance to set. But there's the back put in place. That push back in there. And there we go. Excellent. Let's go ahead and do the other side real fast. This one might be a little bit easier to slot into place. Yeah, I had done a little bit more work over on that side. So this one, a little bit easier to slot in. Go ahead and get it glued in place. And remember, because these are resin pieces, we have to use CA. All right. Make sure that's fit into place properly. Excellent. And the new maintenance pits are installed. Nice and easy. And once again, all I did was take my Sonic Saber and cut and cut and cut and cut until I got all the way through. And then I just simply sanded off the piece. So there is that. I'm going to go ahead and drop. Oh, I think we don't need any kicker. I think we're fine. If I could avoid the smell of kicker, I will avoid the smell of kicker, as I have it in a little bit of a syringe there. But I'm going to let this dry up, and then in between episodes, I'll go ahead and work on getting it puttied and taken care of. But we don't need to do too much work, as these are really nice pieces. and they fit exactly into place. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the final bit of today's episode and getting our shuttle bay installed. All right, so what we have here is our Lake Monster Details shuttle bay. Now, one of the things that you will notice here is that it does have these little light block or boxes, or I guess what you would call them, just light. I don't even know what you would call this. But basically, when you look at the shuttle bays on any Miranda class, you will see that there are lights around the outside. Now, the photo etch and the stock model parts don't have this. Will did an amazing job of designing the shuttle bay and making it look proper. And in order to do so, we can really see the error in what they had done. And so the shuttle bay is a little bit larger. And as you can see here, there is a slight different angle that we're going to be taking to the shape of the shuttle bay. Now, as you can see over here on the other side, I went ahead and cut out the piece, and then we placed our shuttle bay in the middle, lining up with the top center up here, and then I went ahead and just used UV resin to go ahead and seal up around the outside. Obviously, I'm still need to putty up, but we're going to wait for all of our parts here before we do the putty work. But that's going to be the process. And so first things first, let's go ahead and get this off of its support. And to do so, I'm going to use the Sonic Saber, and be careful. It has, I hate to think what this would do to skin. All right, most of that's off. There we go. It's off the base. Go ahead and get this sanded up real fast. All right, there we go. All sanded up and ready to go. Excellent. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lay this on top. And while lining this up with the top center of the shuttle bay that exists, what we're going to do, I'm going to grab my pencil, and I'm going to trace along the outside. I'm not a lefty, so a little bit of a challenge. Make sure everything's lined up properly. There we go. What we're going to do is trace along the outside. You can see that line down there. Okay. That's how far we're going to cut down with the Sonic Saber. So now what I'm going to do is simply start, what I find with using a Sonic Saber is just kind of start by scoring the first lines that you're looking for, and then work in successive passes down. Because you can plunge in and go all the way in, but you will find that works much better when you give smaller approaches. That melts the plastic a little less, and you're able to get through, just like so. Do the same thing over here. Just successive passes until you get all the way through. There we go. Being careful to stay within my line. I keep making my passes until you cut all the way through, and sometimes you're able to get pretty quick, like that one. Focus around my edge here. Get the same thing over here. And what's funny, that hurt, is it can get really hot. All right. So there's our part opened up. Go ahead and clean up the edge here. There we go. And remember, the Sonic Saber is also stupid sharp. So you don't need to activate it to also get some of the effects of it, as it is a nice sharp tool. And I'm going to use it to kind of clean up some edges here. All right. So that's what that looks like. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and test fit this in place, make sure we're all good to go. And this one, I need to come down a little bit here on this side. Which I kind of saw as I was cutting it out. Okay. Give that another test fit. And remember, we're just lining it up along the top, so anything that we have sticking out on the bottom is going to be totally fine. There we go. Need to get a little bit more over in this corner over here. Which I can see. It is a little shallow over there. There we go. Let's see how that fits. There we go. That fits gloriously. Just like so. All right. Now, I learned this technique from watching Will's video. And what we're going to do, the Sonic Saber put away. So I'm going to take a piece of blue painter's tape. And before assembling that, what I'm going to do, very simply, take my tape, cover the hole that we just bored out a little bit. Then we'll setting this upside down. Go ahead and fit the shuttle bay in place, centering it as best to your ability, and lining it up with the top up there. Making sure it's sitting flush on the other side. Then what I'm going to do is take my CA. I'm going to go ahead and trim off the top here a little bit. And we'll curve there. And let's grab my CA. Go along the inside here. Just like so. And anywhere along the bottom where it touches, I actually did a pretty decent job here, I gotta be honest. Okay, excellent. Now in order to help this, make sure everything's all good, go ahead and drop a little bit of kicker in here. I like to use this through a syringe so it doesn't overspray and get everywhere. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and let this cure for just a moment, and we'll be right back. All right. Go ahead and pop the tape off. There we go. There's our shuttle bay installed, just like on the other side. Matches up and looks good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and dry all this kicker off. Because now, I am going to go through and retape this piece. The reason I'm using a new piece of tape is that I don't want any of that kicker to get mixed in with the UV resin. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to grab my UV resin. And remember, UV resin can be sanded, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to fill in along the sides here. I'll leave this flat. I'm trying to show you guys what I'm doing, so you can also zoom in a little bit here. How's that, Jordan? All right. Let me go ahead and get our UV resin in along the sides here. And just really along the sides. I'm not too worried about the bottom because I did a pretty good job of getting that test fit into place. Excellent. Now I'm going to grab my UV flashlight. And don't look at the screen. I'm going to go ahead and cut to this. I'm going to go ahead and cure this for about a minute, and I will be right back. All right. Go ahead and check to see if that's cured up. Oh, yeah. That's cured up. All right. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and zoom back out. Quickly cure anything that might be on the outside if it's still a little wet. And there we go. Excellent. Yep, that's all cured up and good to go. So there we are. There's a little bit of gaps along the outside, obviously, and we'll go ahead and go through and get them puttied in. But this is just a matter of getting this sealed and put in place. A combination of the CA glue and then the UV resin is going to get them held in. Now, last thing that we need to do today before we go is we're going to go ahead and sand off a little piece here because I'll go ahead and show you what the part looks like. And I unfortunately, I sanded off the ones that are really egregious. But in the set of parts from Lake Monster Details, I do have these triangle pieces, and they are basically, they sit on either side of the shuttle bay, and they have a small little light that comes out from next to them, or inside of them. Now, here's what the part looks like molded into the piece. Now, that one's not bad, but it's the one over here on the other side that was put improperly in place and looks really terrible. And so when you use the new parts, I'll go ahead and show you on the other side, as both of these have been taken care of. We can't install these until we do the photo etch over here, which will be taken care of in the next episode. But this is what that looks like for the most part. We'll get them lined up properly. But those are what those raised details look like back there. And so in order to get that, let me go ahead and get these put back so I don't lose them. They're very small pieces. In order to get that, however, what we need to do is I'm going to take my Micro Mark sander, is I'm going to go ahead and sand off this piece. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. I'll show you guys a little bit how it gets going, but then for the sake of sound, I'm going to go ahead and take care of it off camera. So here we go. I'm going to go and sand this down. And as you can see, already a large portion of that detail has been taken down. I think, let's go ahead and just get this done real fast. All right. That is all sanded down. Excellent. Like I said, having the proper tools always makes the best difference. So we're not going to, however, install these until after we've gotten everything puttied and sanded in, as they are a raised surface detail that we're going to want to leave raised, and we don't want to sand anything down. But there are our shuttle bays installed and our little triangle piece sanded down. So last little bit, let's go ahead and finish modifying the back of the hull for our photo etch. So over here, there's going to be a piece of photo etch that sits over the top right here. I'm still waiting for my parts to arrive, and it should be here in the next day or so. So hopefully the photo etch, along with some other of our pieces, are going to be coming in. But a photo etch piece sits over the top right here which means we can't put it in those little triangle pieces until that's done and sanded in. But there's also a light that comes through here. So in order to get the light through, we're going to go ahead and need to get this cut out. So what I'm going to do is show you the basic process for getting this done. And what I'm going to do is I like to take the Sonic Saber and I like to just kind of create a line where I'm going to cut by not pressing hard. Okay. Then we go along the bottom here. And then along the top. And then just start at one spot and keep cutting in the same straight line. And then for the sake of this, go ahead and go over here. I'm a little worried about being too aggressive with the cut over there. And just keep working your way down until you get all the way through. Let's go to the bottom. Okay, that one's through. Oh. Oh, no. Did what I didn't want to do there and crack the piece. Let's be careful here. So we can get through without cracking it any further. Yep. Okay. So that top piece there cracked, but thankfully I was able to get that. Whew, that was close. I was worried about doing that on the other side, and it wound up happening over here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned up. I'll be right back. All right, so I got that part all cleaned up there. I am going to, in between episodes, take some extra thin Tamiya and work on basically melting those pieces together so that we don't have any more issues. And then I'll continue to work on getting this bottom part cleaned up, as I had done the other side on stream, and I had like nothing but time to get it cleaned up. So for the sake of recording, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that one here for now. But there it is. The modifications basically to the back of our shuttle bay area are all taken care of, including getting our maintenance pits put in and drilling out some windows. And so there it is, my friends. Next week, we're going to be finishing up the hull modifications, getting our photo etch put in place. We're going to need to cut this piece out, figure all that, what that looks like. And it's going to be the conclusion to, like I said, all of the saucer section modifications. And we'll be able to move on to either the roll bar or the nacelles. And I think I want to work on the nacelles just because I'm super fascinated. And just remember to go check out Ken's Hobby Bench for his portion of this build and others, as he is an amazing builder and you can learn quite a bit from him. So that's what I got for you today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me build a model, and I think that's pretty damn cool. If you guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. Like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world wherever you happen to be. And just remember, from Hell's Heart, I stab at thee.